could everyone just mute their microphones, please? Thank you. So thank you for joining us on our call today, and thank you to everyone
Recording in progress.
who's also here to take part in our of the book Sheikh has written, titled Self-Development Essays on Islamic Spirituality. I know a number of you live outside of Leeds and you can't make it to our weekly bookkeeping meetings, so I'm grateful that we've at least been given the opportunity to meet virtually. God willing, we'll meet in person. So, Sheikh, welcome.
Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shall I start? Or yeah, Bismillah.
How much do you know about our book club? I was just thinking that maybe I can give you a
Yes,
background information
please.
about us.
Please, yeah.
So we hold a weekly book club at our local Islamic centre called Ahlul Bayt Cultural Centre in Leeds.
Mash.
And we meet weekly to discuss chapters of the book that we're reading. And your book, your compilation of essays, was what started our book club. So we're very happy to have you here. Thank you for your time and energy.
My pleasure.
With that, I was wondering if it's possible for you to give us a brief introduction, or maybe perhaps a history of how you compiled all your essays, or anything you'd like to mention.
Yes. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. First of all, I am very grateful to Allah for giving this opportunity to meet you, and I'm very happy that you have this regular weekly book study and book club. This is very, very important. First of all, seeking knowledge is an obligation, but seeking knowledge through books, by reading, by discussing, shows seriousness. It shows that you are making deliberate attempt for learning. Not everyone, unfortunately, reads books. They don't have either patience for that, or they have not developed the skills for that. So the fact that you are reading books regularly is very good, because you can find the best ideas of scholars presented in their books. A book can be result of years or tens of years of studying, teaching, experiences. You cannot find what are available in the books on, I don't know, social media, or on, for example, even Wikipedia or this kind of sources or articles. Books are very serious. Plus, you do it together. This is amazing, because you could study a book by yourself, but to study together, to discuss with each other, and possibly discuss with the author or another scholar who is expert in that field, even if he's not the author, brings lots of other barakah. I always emphasize on discussion, mubahatha, because in Islamic model of education, education is collective. You need teacher, and you need also classmates, you need partners for discussion. It's a journey that you don't travel alone. You try to find other people who are co-travelers and travel together. Lots of barakah in doing this together. Before I go to the book, I like to share with you one just sample hadith about the beauty of doing these things together, inshallah. So this hadith is one of the many hadiths that we have, and it is from Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, تَزَاوَرُوا وَتَذَاكَرُوا الْحَدِيثِ. Visit each other. Another great thing is to visit each other, if possible in person. If not always possible in person, maybe on internet, but visiting in person is the main thing. Find occasions to meet each other, visit each other. وَتَذَاكَرُوا الْحَدِيثِ. And then discuss hadith, discuss teachings of Ahlul Bayt, and because everything that we say in the end should be a commentary on Quran and Hadith, an explanation, an implication or application of Quran and Hadith. And then Amirul Mu'mineen said, فَإِنَّكُمْ إِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوا يَدْرُسْ عِلْمُكُمْ. If you don't do this, your knowledge will go to decline. Your knowledge will be, outdated. To keep your knowledge fresh, you must meet each other and discuss with each other. Also, Imam Baqir alayhi salam said, Rahimallahu abdan ahya al-ilm. May Allah's mercy be upon the one who revives the knowledge. Qila wa ma ahyahu. It was said, what is the revival of knowledge? Imam said, an yudhakira bihi ahlu din wal wara. When people of religion, religious people of wara, of taqwa, so it means religious, pious people, they discuss. This is revival of knowledge. This is revival of Islam, because Islam is a matter of knowledge. Because we know life of Islam is ilm, is knowledge. So I want to congratulate you for doing this, and I want to request you not to let this stop. To start is very important, but to maintain is even more important. Nothing should stop you from doing this, inshallah. Now, regarding this book, Self-Development, so this book has a long history. I am very much committed to explaining normally the story behind every book in the introduction to the book. So I advise you, whenever you read a book, read the introduction. Some people just start with the first chapter. But always try to read introduction, because it helps you better understand this book. And for me, every book is like a child. So it's very much, every book is dear to my heart. And it has been developed over years. I have explained that, for example, one of the very first time I gave talk about spirituality was actually to non-Muslims, to the participants of Catholic Shia Dialogue in Ampleforth, North Yorkshire. I was supposed to give a talk about a spiritual direction from Islamic perspective. Then I had courses on spirituality in Vancouver, in Toronto. I had a course on self-building in London. And then we started organizing them, publishing them as articles in Message of Saqalain, and then finally making it as a book. I have another book, Self-Knowledge, which prepares foundation for this book, Self-Development. As you noticed, the book comes in 8 essays. So the first is about significance of self-control and self-purification. Islamically, our main task is tazkiyatun nafs, some spiritualities in the world, they try to make their spiritual power stronger. They try to make their spirit more powerful. And even it can be by doing wrong things or by putting too much pressure on themselves. We are not after taqwiyatul nafs. We are after tazkiyatul nafs, as the late Ayatollah Ansari Hamadani said. Islam is after tazkiyatul nafs, purification of the soul. One of the tasks of the Prophet was tazkiyatul. It needs self-control, but then transformation. The second part is about different methodological approaches to spirituality and ethics. We have philosophical approach. We find it in some books. We have mystical approach. We have hadith-based approach. We can have also synthetic approach, which brings all the good things from these three together. Then different treatments of spirituality, or different analogies used to explain spirituality, whether it is a medicine, whether it is a journey, whether it is a kind of business, it's a kind of traveling. So there are different analogies, but the main is like a trade, medicine and journey, and medicine, as I said. A spiritual struggle also, jihad akbar. Then key concepts in Islamic spirituality. There are many concepts in Islamic spirituality, but to my humble view, three are very, very important. Love by itself is great, and you can talk about love for hours. It's a very important concept, to the extent that once a person asked Imam alayhi salam, is love part of religion? And Imam said, هَلَ الدِّينُ إِلَّا الْحُبِّ. Is religion anything other than love? The second concept of gratitude, shukr. Shukr is very important. And the third, humbleness or spiritual poverty. I'm not saying these are the only ones or these are the most important ones, but these are three of the most important ones. Otherwise, for example, the concept of patience is also very important. But these three especially I highlighted because sometimes, we underestimate them. Shukr, for example, is the key for success in dunya and akhirah. People of dunya love those who are grateful. People of akhirah love those who are grateful. Then the next is about some instructions given for a spiritual journey. As you might have heard, when our friendship with the Benedictine monks in Ampleforth Abbey was growing, in 2000, after several years of knowing them and visiting them, the abbot of Ampleforth, Abbot Timothy, asked me, Muhammad, are you happy to give talk about Islam to our community? They didn't have experience of dialogue with Islam. So this was the first time they were inviting a Muslim. I said, yes, I am happy. He said, what are you going to say? All of a sudden, I started thinking, and I said, I can talk about Islam in general, give an introduction to Islam, then focus on Islamic spirituality, and then end with some practical instructions given by Muslim mystics. He was very happy. He said, why you don't give 3 talks? This is 2000, 2001. And interestingly, when we fixed the date, it happened, we didn't know, it happened that the first time that I went to give lecture coincided the demise anniversary of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was very meaningful for me, and which is very close. We are close to the anniversary of the demise of the Prophet. So about 4 years ago, I had the first talk, and then the second, and the third. So the third was practical instructions given by some Muslim mystics. The next chapter is outcomes of a spiritual journey. I have discussed this to some extent in self-knowledge, but also in some other places. So here there is a chapter. And then a brief report of my discussion about light. Actually, I had a whole series about light, which is published in 7 or 8 papers about light. But a summary of it is this one. And again, there is a beautiful story here. So once I was going to US from Doha, it's a long journey. And in the flight, I started writing one article on the light. So I said, let me have a summarized version of my discussions about light. And I didn't have reference, just I tried to use my memory and come up with a brief explanation. So alhamdulillah, in the flight I managed to write this article. When we landed in Washington, I was in the queue for immigration. I realized, oh, I left my paper inside the in the plane, because I had put it in front of me. I was so sad. I said, I spent so many hours writing this, and I lost it. Then I saw one of the crew members of Qatar Airways, and I said, I have left my documents, some of my documents in the plane. And they kindly arranged to find and bring it back to me. So alhamdulillah, I got it back. Then we translated it into English. So that is the story of this paper. So this is a breakdown. I'm sure you have studied the book, and just I wanted to say some of the things behind the scene about the book. And I am very happy to receive any questions, any comments you have. And I hope, inshallah, we will have very good exchange, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.